And welcome back, everybody. Friday Night Fights. Here we are. This is the last week of the season, week 12. Charles is with me. There's Charles.
Hello. Yeah.
Hey. We're covering Season 11, Division 4D. We have an interesting week this week. We'll talk a little bit about some upcoming games, obviously. News around Rebbl. Actually, have some news around Rebbl this time.
Stick around, people.
Oh, boy, I know it's a big show. I hope you guys sticked around for last week. Oh, Charles, did you catch the bonus segment last week that I threw in there?
Oh man, I haven't.
Oh,
How
Charles,
did you not tell
wait
me?
a minute, Charles. You are on this show, but you don't even listen to it, Charles.
Yes, because I hate my voice. So
Charles, I got news for you.
To watch it.
I got some news for you, Charles. I hate your voice too.
Oh,
No, I'm
boy.
just kidding.
I imagine.
You're a wonderful, beautiful human. Stop it, Charles. Everybody loves you. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll look at our scorecards. And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is the scorecard where we take a look at last week's results. Now, Charles, who did you want to talk about first? Which game? What was our main event?
We had the boat bombers facing the mass boats, and the elves did it. They made the division interesting for last week.
I am shocked. Just shocked. Like, I don't think anybody but you picked the mass bolts, did you? That was
Yes, I was the only one who believed in them,
Oh my gosh.
and they
what
made
happened?
me proud.
Did you get to check this
Yeah.
game out?
It happened late in the week for
Yeah.
me. We are recording this on a Wednesday, and by Tuesday night,
Still-
it was
yeah,
not
yeah.
played on my time zone, so there was just no way. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah.
No, don't be sorry. You can't watch every game. Stop it. Let's take a look at some statistics here first. Ball possession, mass bolts had a little better. But it looks like the boat bombers had it in the opponent's half, so they must have got the ball. 39 blocks. The blocks were okay. Kaz is about the same, so nothing amazing here. Let's take a look at some dice rolls here. Boat bombers. Everything looking okay. They failed
the
two
pickups?
they failed two pickups. They had one successful, two pickups, which that'll cost
Whoa.
you against elves that can move that fast.
Yes, that's a
Uh,
problem.
And the elves pickups, they only failed one pickup. Pass one. So my guess here is that it was 1-1 game when a couple of those pickups probably set you back a little. And elves are so easy to just grab the ball, flick it back to somebody, and then score on the next turn. Oh, that's a bummer.
You wanted the elves to lose, huh?
I kind of did. I wanted to see the Bogue Bombers take a human team into the playoffs, but like right now they're kind of teetering on the brink. But
They'll just have to sweat it out a little bit more.
yeah,
fine.
major props to the Mass Bolts for turning that one around. Nice.
Oh yeah, it's a big win.
Big win.
They're getting crazy good. I think I didn't give them enough props early in the season.
Yeah.
And then as the time went on, I started picking them more and more.
Yep.
And now they got a big result.
Yeah, they
Congratulations.
definitely turned their season around, and that's an impressive win over the big bad team of the division. Nice work. Now the interesting thing is, how do the Bogue Bombers come back? The coach is boy, you come off a loss like that, and then you've got to go win one last game to get in. That could have an effect in your brain that you're gonna start
yeah.
second guessing yourself.
Maybe on the first blocks they suffer some casualties, and then things start looking ugly.
Snowballs.
Then
Yep.
you'll start
You
thinking to yourself, "Is this not gonna happen?"
Yeah, you start. What did I do all this work for this whole season for it to come down to
Yeah.
this dice? And then you start blaming the dice. All right.
Now is the time to make everything count, all the hard work.
Absolutely. And whoever's playing the Bogue Bombers next week, you better give it your all, because you'd be the hero of the division, taking down the guy who's just been dominating the division. Scott Pop Scavens and Commanders in Grief, you guys haven't played your game yet. What's going on, you slackers? You only have like 5 hours left to play your game. Horrible people. Rebbl Cheese Thieves 2-2 draw against Bring Out Your Undead.
Oh, yeah.
Really surprised at that.
This was a very interesting game. It's the only one I was able to catch this week.
Oh, good. Tell us a little about it.
So the elves, they start by, first of all, the Kenry, they go again for their strategy, which to avoid the fireball, they make a screen, which is very interesting. I think it should be studied, because I think Random Ad has something there. So it's kind of open for reds, and the reds end up 1 in 36 an attempt to sack, and then they 1 in 9 another attempt to sack, and the carry just keep on those screens to play around the wizard. And the Reds, they refuse to use their last reroll on a sack attempt, which is understandable but also questionable. It's a decision to make. And the carry, they score. They have some trouble dealing with the sidestep, but eventually they just score. And the Reds do just a simple one-turn touchdown play, and they stay on the back end, the backfield, just one more turn and score on 2. So that's 1-1 at the end of the first half. Very simple offense by the Reds. There's not much Henry can do to stop it. Then the Reds come out again with the new style. The Cheese Thieves are adopting, stalling a little bit, but they do have trouble maneuvering those edge 3 players. So only the edge 4 players are kind of screening, and at some point they are forced to score because the edge 3 players are so far away from the play. And then they score on 4 turns, giving the Reds, the Camry team, 5 turns to score. And they Skaven lightning ball the ball. They pop the ball because there's no good fireball. That's great for, again, the strategy on Camry.
Yeah.
And they 1 in 36 a leap when they're trying to recover, so the Camry scores, and that's 2-2.
Oh yeah, it looks like they failed 2 leaps here. Not having watched this game, to me, I think I know what happened here. If you look at Rebbl Cheese Thieves injuries, they had 14 times no injury and only 1 successful injury. So it almost seems like the Undead team just couldn't get any injuries going here. That's kind of crazy number right there.
Yeah, but they're not really a killy Camry team yet. They still need to build their killer, and their Tomb Guardians don't have a lot of Mighty Blow. So...
Right, but with, I mean, that many successful armor breaks, you would expect more than 1 injury. So
sure.
It seems like if I had to look at just the stats here, I'd be like, oh my god, the Camry couldn't get him off the pitch. And when rats are on the pitch with 10 players, it's trouble. That's a bummer. I really was thinking to bring out your Undead team would finally put an end to these Cheese Thieves, but nope. But Cheese Thieves do not stop.
You know what? This is a cool result for the division, because we're gonna see later on the pound for pound rankings, but it does make the Challenger Cup spot more interesting.
That's awesome. Good, well played for both of you. Let's take a look at the next one. Sweet Tea should beat. Yeah, Sweet Tea should beat them. Bogue Bombers, Mass Bolts we covered. Here's an interesting one. Beer Brawl Club and Dazed and Confused. 0-0 tie.
Oh yeah.
Now you know my policy on tie games, right?
What is it?
Nobody cares about tie games. So we're gonna go to the next result. No, I'm just kidding. We'll take a look at you guys. A tie? That's horrible.
It's just low teams.
Now here's a team that got plenty of casualties, a lot of blocks, pretty good casualty rate, plenty of skill points. Let's take a look and see if we can see anything in the dice here that would make me think this is interesting. No. Nothing on the Brawl Club, so... Plenty of armor or injuries on Dazed and Confused. Yeesh, that is an ugly result there. Regeneration doing a good thing. Failed 5 dodges. That's probably a huge impact on Dazed and Confused.
That's a lot of dodges.
Well, they attempted 9 of them, failed 5 of them. So that is a lot of dodging, I assume, with ghouls. That's an interesting result. But yeah, 0-0 tie. Boring. Alright. Let's go to Sterling Hornets, getting it done. 2-1 win over the Gumblegot Gorgers. Let's take a look.
That was predictable.
Yeah, we were hoping the Gorgers would get a win over the Hornets, but I mean the Hornets were the team that you had picked at the beginning, right? They were your team of choice. Just weren't getting it done.
They got kind of bashed heavily.
Yeah. They put out 2 deaths on the Gorgers. They took 1 death on their own. Nice day of skill point pickups. Let's take a look here. Anything interesting? for
Were
a lot
there
of
any
injuries.
throw teammates?
Yeah, let me take a look here. Throw teammate, 2 successful, 2 fail. Man, Bonehead. Oh, Bonehead 83%. I forget. This was a ogre team, so they're gonna have a lot of Bonehead rolls. I looked at that and just kind of shocked me all of a sudden. I was like, 80 Bonehead rolls. What the hell? But that's because they have to do that. Injuries about on point. 50% injury rate. That's nice. And lightning bolt failed at some point. So apparently, Wizard, you did not pay enough to the Wizard to get it done. But congratulations on the Sterling Hornets there. Let's take a look at Drakdar squad. 2-1 win over the Blitvarian Solarian.
Look at that. That was a surprising result.
Now, who did you pick? Or did we all pick the...
we all picked the Lizardman because of the skinks, but I guess the skinks couldn't get it done.
Yeah, Orcs would have none of that nonsense. The Orcs kept the ball 50% of the time. Let's see. Less blocks. The Blitvarian threw like 20 more blocks than they did. Let's take a look at the casualties rates. 3 casualties sustained on both sides. Drakdar Sod took a death. Boy, just looking at these stats, I would have picked the Lizardmen to win this game, except for that ball possession, but just the amount of KOs, injuries, kills, blocks. Let's take a look at the stats here. Armor holding up pretty good for Drakdar. And going for it. 12 successes, no failures. Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nuffle was smiling at them.
Happy about that, but on the 9 dodges they tried, 4 of them failed. What are you guys dodging that much for? Jeez. You got your orcs. Settle down. And orc go for it. That number should have been reversed. That should have been 0 successes, 12 failures. Because all I ever see on orcs is when they go for it, they fall on their head. They do that trip maneuver. Let's take a look at Blitvarian. Again, 9 go for it successful, 4 failures. That seems a little more reasonable. Plenty of armor. A lot of dodging here too. 8 dodges attempted, 3 of them failed. So, but they have skinks with dodge, so that makes more sense. Pick up 50%, 2 failed, 2 succeeded. So just one of those weird games, I guess. Congratulations, Drakdar squad, picking up your win. Now, was that the team that hadn't won yet? No. What's the team that hadn't won yet?
It's a Scapop who haven't played yet.
Oh, Scapop, you've got a few hours left to get that victory and get yourself out of that doghouse. Boy,
right.
Good luck with
and
that.
it's their last chance because next week they got a bye week and it doesn't count.
Right. So will he show up and play his game, or will he duck it and then he can say, well, I didn't want to play it. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take a look at our pound for pound leaderboard. Welcome back to Friday Night Fights. We're taking a look at our pound for pound leaderboard. So, Charles, what did you want to look at first?
We're gonna take a look at the heavy hitters from week 12.
Okay.
We got what I believe are 2 new additions to the heavy hitters squad.
All right.
On Mokruk from Drakdar squad, scoring 1 of their touchdowns and getting 2 injuries, even though he's not a Mighty Blow guy.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and then Hawk from the Sterling Hornets, I believe, scoring both touchdowns on his team win and getting a casualty.
Yeah, again, another impressive play by a blitzer there. Both blitzers picking up the heavy hitter of the week. That's nice.
Right,
Doing
and I do like that build on Hawk. Just worry
sidestep,
about
dodge,
his safety,
tackle.
but
Yeah. What is it? Diving tackle. That's an interesting
Yeah.
choice.
it's a very cool build to have.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our leaderboard here. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah,
All right.
we
And
still have a fight for first place. The Bug Bombers couldn't get it done last week.
yep. 9 touchdown differential, but points differential. You could lose this, so that is a lot of pressure right there.
So touchdown difference is the first tiebreaker,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
So that means they are kind of safe on the draw, as we said previously.
Right.
And then Mass Boats have to win their game and hope for the Bug Bombers to lose.
Yep.
But they also are sitting on that Challenger Cup spot, and Bring Out Your Dad's gonna face the Mass Boats. They'll fight for that spot.
Ooh, that's an interesting 2-3 right there. One of them gets to go to the Sippy Cup, or the Challenger Cup, as it's often called.
Yeah.
And also, Jericho Peppers, can he get into it there too?
Yes, he has a higher TD differential from those teams.
Okay.
So if they draw
And he wins.
and the Cheese Thieves wins,
He takes it.
he's there. Yeah, he takes it.
If Jericho Peppers takes it, that will be the comeback of the season. If he can come back
from
and
having like
because he was just getting decimated, but he was throwing a lot of touchdowns, and then at one point he only had like 5 players on his team. Whoa,
yes,
that's a lot of pressure on him
he
as
had
well.
No blitzer at some point.
Yep. What an
And now
amazing
look at
comeback.
them.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
And then that also puts a lot of pressure on Mass Bolts and Bring Out Your Undead. I mean, one slip up, and then how hard do you play? Because if you go all in and you do make it to the playoffs, well, now half your team is sitting out injured. Oof.
Yeah.
This is why I don't go for the playoffs, Charles. I won't do it. I'm not going to compete for the playoffs. I'll take my 5 wins a season and be happy with it. But yeah, good times.
That's better than most, I'd say.
Nah, it's about average. How dare you? The rest of the division, everybody I assume is just rebuilding at this point. Everybody below 5th place here, you really are out of it, obviously. But the only other interesting game here is Ska Pop Skavens if he comes back tonight. He needs to play his game. And can he get 1 win, or does he end with 0? Boy, you hate to see a division have a 0-win team. It happens, but you like to see at least everybody get a win. So.
Yes, even the Ogres have 2 wins.
Even,
right?
I mean, they were putting a beating on people for a while. I picked them a few times. I thought, boy, they're really coming
Me too,
around.
But it's the stunty team. You never expect the stunty team to be on top.
This is true, but 3 wins, you got to be happy with that. That's been a good season for the Ogre team. Everybody else, keep playing. You're going to be seeded next season. Well, you have 1 game left, and then that will determine your season where you get seeded, which division next time around. All right, that is a interesting pound for pound. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll take a look at our contender series where we have a special guest. Please stay tuned. And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. This is our contender series where we take a look at one of the coaches in the league and the division, take a look at his team. Now, I've tried to message B-Dog on several occasions. I think, Charles, you've tried to message him a few times, and he's clearly doing the sensible thing here by ignoring us and just keeps winning. So
yes,
he made a smart choice.
Wins, I guess.
Yeah, he made a smart choice there. He made a horrible choice here in uniforms, because doesn't that look like your uniforms, Charles?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was cool.
No, that's Charles. You're way off on this one.
Am I wrong on my
You're
assessment?
completely wrong on this assessment. But we did bring in somebody who is cool. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Vapor Gecko, also known as SFG Sam in Discord. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing well.
Do you prefer to be called Sam or Vapor Gecko?
Yeah, Sam. Sam's fine.
All right. And Sam, now you're an actual board game designer. We don't have to talk too much about it if you don't want to. But Sam knows his way around human team. He led the the Handsome Jacks?
The Handsome Jacks.
The Handsome Jacks to Division 1.
As many seasons as they were around.
Yeah, and so these are all the people in this division, Sam, I think all of them are new to Rebbl, and a lot of them came from that Eurogamer article that went out. So they may not be familiar with your team, but there's a tournament that's held every year in Rebbl called the Huge Jackman tournament, which is based off one of your Ogre, wasn't it?
The Huge Jackman Memorial Cup. So my the Handsome Jacks' Ogre was Huge Jackman, who had the audacity to take piling on as his first skill, and then was rewarded by Knuckle for his bloodlust by giving block immediately after.
That was nice.
Amazing.
And then I seen the play. I mean, it's legendary around Rebbl. The play where he was on broadcast and scored the touchdown. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the best moments. But I assume he died soon after that, huh?
He ended up taking a move bust, and then at that point I was just like, in those upper divisions, it's really hard
Yeah.
to be sad about that sort of thing. And I'm not a pixel hugger, so after his move bust, I was like, okay, well, he'll play until he dies, and eventually a Chaos Warrior killed him.
And he became a legend.
And he was a legend. I mean, he was already a legend.
Yeah.
He has, and that was back in the days when REL had the rivalries between other big guys. So there was like Jimmy on the Rat Ogre carrier that I think had extra arms and agility 3.
Oh, okay.
So he was actually a
He's a capable ball carrier.
yeah. So on a team where you had gutter runners, I'm like, all right. Huge got to show that at least in one game that he was the superior big guy.
That's awesome. All right, Sam, we brought in to take a look at this human team. We needed a human expert, not a uniform expert. So Sam's in here, and he's going to help us break down the team. Now, the Bogue Bombers are in playoff contention. They just have to not lose. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Sam.
Yeah.
Okay. Sam,
Yeah, it looks like if they just got a draw, then they're unassailable.
All right, so this is a first season team. Let's take a look at it here. And do any of these players stand out to you yet as a first player or a first season team?
So they got one season under the belt.
One season. This is their initial. I think they got a few games for like the.
Yeah,
rookie
the
league.
Eurogamer, they probably got 4 games and then a preseason competition and a season.
Now he's already up to 1,700 TV. That seems a little. It seems a little expensive for his first season team. But what do I know?
This is a very, very well built team right now. I mean, so the big red flag for me is that Ogre is a horrible liability right now.
Right.
Right. I was about one thing that it's interesting about this team is that they lost 2 ogres. So that's one thing I wanted to touch on. How hurtful losing those ogres early is.
So let's see. After Huge finally died, I went through 5 ogres in 1.5 seasons.
Ouch.
On the Handsome Jacks. Now this is in Division 1, so there's like claws and murder everywhere.
Right.
So a rookie ogre in upper divisions is a problem, and I would consider even cutting an ogre from this team if he gets if after playoffs that ogre doesn't get anything, doesn't level, and this team gets put up in a higher division.
Well, yeah.
The ogre is going to become a liability.
One skill point is going to level, but if he wins the division, he's going to go up. I mean, I would assume till Division 3 is where other people got seeded, and they got up in like 3-1 or something. It was pretty high.
Yeah.
And it's 1,700 TV. You'll be up there. They won't keep you out of that division.
Yeah, and having a rookie ogre is not going to be the worst thing in the world. So, and the rest of his team is quite good. So, if he gets a level during the playoffs, that's great. It'll probably be guard. If he gets blocked, then thank the maker. You just live with it and are a happy camper. But it's just most ogres are just going to be guard and stand firm, which is fine. And he's missing stand firm on this team, but we'll get to that
Now,
later.
humans are kind of a hybrid team. They can do a little of everything, but I don't really see a killer on this team. I mean, he's got Mighty Blow sprinkled in here, but he doesn't have like a Mighty Blow pile-on piece.
Correct.
That bothers me.
So Griff Clooney needs to become his new killer, because Mean Joe Bean, who just picked up Dodge, who was his former killer, Mighty Blow Tackle, now needs to take guard, because Blodge guard blitzers are the backbone of your team as a human coach, in my opinion. And so I don't think Mean Joe Bean takes piling on anymore, because he's now a blodger. So he needs to give that guy guard stat, and then he needs to get stand firm on these dudes. I'm sad to see Mighty Blow instead of stand firm on Rock Davidson.
Okay.
But I mean, all human blitzers end up with guard, stand firm, and Mighty Blow eventually anyway. So
okay, so you prefer to
depends.
get your blitzer in there, and then it's with block dodge, it's a little harder to knock him down, and he keeps guarding then, and then he stands firm so you don't get moved out of the way.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Because human teams are actually, I mean, one, they're a quick team.
Yeah.
So they can play both sides of the ball, but at their core, they are a fast team. They are just having movement 8 and movement 7 players is huge, and their big guys reliable and quick for a big guy.
Sure.
So I think these blitzers are all good. Fan Firm is probably the next skill to take on all of them. Get guard on Mean Joe Bean, because he has guard on a lineman. Griff Clooney, I would just immediately go Mighty Blow piling on tackle.
Yeah.
And that's going to help him catch up to his other blitzers too.
Now, his catcher movement, obviously you take movement when it comes along, and then block, it's strength 2. I assume you take block just because you want the blodge there. Where do you go from here?
Kid Kasim, I would actually get Russell.
Kid Kasim would be like you play him as a safety or something?
Yes. So it's awkward getting Russell on the team. I mean, you could put it on the lineman, and that's fine. But humans tend to get a lot of guard.
Okay.
So having a very fast 2-strength player with Russell means that you can chase down any of the elves that have catchers that are going to be just like running around you anyway. So it turns them into a good safety, but it also like human catchers never carry the ball for any prolonged period of time, so it doesn't matter if they have block or wrestle, in my opinion.
Because they should just be
How
positioned to
much
score.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Charles.
How much wrestle do you look for on the team? Just those 2 players would be okay?
I think 2 players would be fine. I mean, on my team, I got lucky and got both a strength and a move up on a catcher. It was like, well, you're my sacker.
Yeah.
Movement 9, strength 3, built-in dodge. Yes, here, have wrestle, and then go bust into things. But like, you don't want to put wrestle on a blitzer. I think wrestle and alignment is good, but they're a little slow and incapable of getting around things as well as a catcher does. And you have all of this guard on movement 7 players, so having a movement 8 wrestler that's supported by movement 7 blodge stepping or blodge guard players is pretty reliable. He's got his kicker, which is super good.
Would you be looking for tackle or strip ball after the wrestle?
He's got some tackle already built in. I'd probably go ahead and give him just make it a rackler, wrestle tackle. Because I mean, he's going to be going up to Division 3 or so anyway. So up there, you already have people that have sure hands.
Oh yeah.
So the strip ball is not going to be super handy. It's nice because it reduces options, but it's not going to it'll reduce options. It won't attain you the ball, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been up in the middle upper divisions with a wrestle tackle strip baller and Thrall, and I've almost never used this. I don't think I've actually used the strip ball at all this season.
Now, at what point do linemen get cut? I mean, is there too many skills they can have?
Yeah, I usually cut them after if they hit level 3.
Okay.
And don't have a doubles, which is almost always guard.
Okay.
Speaking of which, what do you think about that thrower? He seems to have just rolled normals. Would you be looking to reset it, or is he good right now?
This thrower's done. Like, his next level is leader. He's basically done forever. Like, he shouldn't be running any more touchdowns at this point. He should be doing a handoff to one of the catchers or blitzers to actually run in the touchdown. So, I mean, in 3 points, he gets leader, and then he could cut a reroll, and that saves him a bunch of team value. And I would actually start on your because your blitzers are done, you already have a really good catcher, and it's time to start focusing on the next catcher. I would roll up a new thrower and make him a dedicated quarterback.
So just throw it to that catcher all the time when you can.
Yes. So that thrower, like I ran 2 throwers. One was the runner, which is what he's got now. The second one was accurate strong arm leader. Like no defensive skills because he never gets punched because he's always hanging out in your like first third of your pitch. First 2/3 of your pitch. And he's just get the ball and then move it up when you're intending to score.
Yeah. All right. And then what do humans struggle against in general?
I mean, so because they aren't particularly focused in any one particular thing,
yeah,
they have trouble against other teams that just have their skills and just have stats on them. Okay. So like dark elves, which are essentially a elf human team, but have agility 4 built in everywhere.
Yeah.
Any of the well-developed chaos teams are a massive problem if you don't have really good catchers that are just going to be dodging away and staying and playing keep away all game.
Okay.
Especially when you have an ogre that doesn't have any skills and is just going to be 130,000 gold of bloat.
Yeah. That, people just leave, walk away from.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, well, hopefully I don't just eat a Clopon hit and then fall over and then don't exist anymore.
Yeah. All right.
How much is bench at? I mean, his bench is fine. I don't think I would ever take a human team above 13 players. And I would try my best to keep it below 2K.
Well,
200K.
Hopefully, if he wins out now, he'll make the playoffs, and we'll get to see how he does against some stiffer competition. Looks like this team is ready to go, and I'm sure we'll see him around next season. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back with our next segment. Charles, do you have any other questions for Sam?
Yeah, this team had a great season so far. So is the human team a team that you expect to have a lot of early success and maybe fall off later, like say Amazons, or can they keep up for a long time?
Human teams can keep up for a while, as long as they're like it's going to come down to individual players. So he doesn't have a lot of skills, stat ups. So that's going to end up capping the amount of progress you'll be able to make.
Sure.
So without stats, he's going to have to focus on his bloat and making sure that he is pitching every penny so that he can then lean on things like having access to wizards and star players and that sort of thing to really give him that extra edge and give him that flexibility against any given matchup that he comes up against. So, when he goes up against a 200,000 kill team, he ducks their team value enough that he can pick up just extra linemen to throw into the meat grinder. When he's going up against an equally or more developed elf team, he's able to pick up a wizard. Like it's just going to be playing that inducement game and making sure that his team value, he's getting as much bang for his buck as possible. Because eventually, he hits a point where he just has all of the skills already, and there's nowhere else to go. And he's rapidly approaching that, especially with all this blodge. Like, all of this blodge in Blitzers is really good. That is insanely good. So he needs to get guard and stand firm on them as soon as possible. And he'll just be able to hold his own as long as he doesn't let his team value get out of hand.
Cool. Sam, how's your season going?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, good for you. Are you re-rolling?
No one died. No, God no. I have 3 near legends.
Alright. Sam plays vampires. He's
I
up in
do.
Charles's division, I think, right? You guys are in the same division?
Not right now.
Oh. Okay, you went
We
Charles.
were at the past.
Okay, Charles went a
Yes.
little higher, I guess. Charles, are you re-rolling?
I am not.
Oh, you both suck. All right. Well, I'm sure I'll eventually catch up to you guys. All right. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back with our next segment. And welcome back to Friday Night Fights. Up next is our main event and our undercard series. We take a look at the upcoming games. Charles picks which matchups he thinks are the most interesting, which are the least interesting, and we put them in order, in no particular order, when you're not in the main event. So don't feel bad if we pick you last as on the bottom of the undercard. Charles, who do you have up for your main event pick this week, and tell us why?
We're gonna have Bring Out Your Undead, the Kenry team, facing the Mass Boats,
All right, nice.
the Elf team.
Yeah, we just kind of touched over that in a segment ago. This is the one with playoff implications for basically all top 4 coaches in the division, right? I mean, this game sets the pace as what goes down.
Yes,
depending-
exactly. If it's a draw, it gives the Cheese Thieves a chance to go to the Challenger Cup.
Yep.
If any one of these teams wins, they get at least the Challenger Cup spot, and the Mass Boats also have a chance to be champion if they win.
Okay.
So everything changes depending on the result of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. All 4 coaches, I'm sure, are gonna be watching this one. So, what are some of the keys to the matchup here?
Yeah, for the Kenry, I'm guessing the Mass Boats are gonna get a Wizard, so I want to see more of that screening game against the Wizard. It's tough to do because if you mess up the positioning on one of those players, the Elves are gonna be able to just dodge in and not even use the Wizard, so I want to see what happens there.
Okay.
And then for the Elves, I feel like from my recent experience against Kenry that if you are able to hunt down those AV7 players to keep up on the numbers, the Elves on average are better players than the Kenry team.
All right.
So if the numbers are equal, you have an advantage. And then of course, who keeps their cool under pressure is the main key of the game. It's the big one.
Yeah.
All the season hinges on this one.
Yep. That's very true. Let's take a look at them real quick here. A little bit of a TV difference there, but it looks like the Kenry team is saving up some cash. They've got 210 sitting in their bank. The Mass Bolts are sitting on 150, I assume, just for their Wizard backup, so they can scum that. Let's take a look. Bring Out Your Undead comes in completely healthy, and the Mass Bolts just have 1 lineman out, so fairly healthy for an Elf team.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good game. I'll let you pick first this week. Who do you like in this one?
I'm picking the Elves. I think they have the tools to stop the Kenry, especially if they do get a Wizard. And the Kenry, as I said, don't have a lot of kill pieces yet, so I'm going with the Elves.
All right. I'm going with the draw because I want to see Jericho Peppers make the comeback of the week. So he will need this to become a draw, and I think the Kenry get the draw because they do have 3 Mighty Bow Polices. They spread out, they give them the business, and last week was kind of a fluke where they were not getting removals, but this week, plenty of Elves hit the showers early, is my prediction. All
Cool.
right, let's take a look. That was Mass Bolts. Let's take a look at our next matchup. Who do we have up next here?
Bye week for Scap-Up Skavens.
Yeah, it's a bye week. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the admin team for my upset of the week on that one, because Scott Pop Skavens, you haven't shown me anything yet.
Haven't been so hot.
You gotta be serious here, bro. All right. Commanders in Grief, Dazed and Confused. Now we don't know what Commanders in Grief are gonna look like, unfortunately, so it's gonna be hard to pick this one. Assuming they're completely healthy like they are now, and it's an admin game. If they haven't played this late, I can't imagine them scheduling it. Looks like Dazed and Confused is gonna come in with a injured Nurgle warrior, who may be out.
Oh.
You know, a fractured leg. Although I don't know if the division has to roll over, if that's gonna stick. So I'll assume it will. Other than that, healthy. And
That does make a big difference.
it does, and but he's still got that nice beast of Nurgle. Oh, it's a beautiful piece. Boy, I don't know. I didn't pick Commanders in Grief last week. I'm gonna pick them this week. I think Andrew Smaxson has the game of his career and takes out a lot of these little beastmen. I mean, there's so many beastmen here that pestigores they're called. Sorry, I was calling them beastmen. Pestigores and Rotters that he gets full and gets the job done. Who do you like?
Yes, I agree with you. I also think Smackson is a big key for this ARC team, and with that EV9, I expect it to hold better and the numbers to eventually overwhelm the Nurgle.
I think so too, and they got plenty of strength with those Black Orcs, and they're getting inducement money, so I think all of those things come together for a win for the Commanders. Let's take a look at Rebbl Cheese Thieves. Grumble got Gorgers. Now, before I even look at the stats, I'm picking the Cheese Thieves. Both teams.
Because you want them to win.
Oh, I want to see what happens. I want to see that four-way tie and everybody just freak out about the pressure.
Yes.
I think this is going to be too much for the Gorgers. They're not going to know how to deal with that one turner, and this is the game where he just drops like 2 or 3 touchdowns, and it's on. And then he dodges away.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of tackle on this team, and Nalbars can't really harass without having 2 or 3 of them nearby. So I don't see him having any way to deal with the Paneer and that Sacker. What is it, Abundance? So it's going to be a long game.
You bring up a good point about the scoring, because it's the last game of the season.
Yep.
If they have a decent amount of linemen, this is a game where this Skaven could run up the score, because it's not like the Ogres are going to just beat them to a pulp.
Yep. I think last game of the season, he goes back to his old tactics and just tries to score 5 touchdowns. And if he does, if he scores 3, it's going to be a long day for the Ogres. Ogres obviously have to look for removals, but without tackle, it's going to be hard. You're going to need a lot of 3 dice to get it done. Although
And just the speed difference between those two teams, it's amazing.
It's going to be a battle. Who are you picking in that one?
Yeah, I have to go with the Skaven.
Yeah, I got to go with the Cheese Thieves on that one too. Sweet Teeth Forever versus Blutarian Solarian. Let's see. Sweet Teeth Forever coming in way down in TV, 1290 to 1630 for Blutarian. Let's take a look at his team. Ew, he's missing a werewolf and a zombie. Yeah, a 160 werewolf and a zombie. Let's take a look at Blutarian. Comes in completely healthy. So, looking at that, you're down to 1 claw piece that's going to have to do work. I got to go with the Lizardmen on this one. They've got block on all but 2 Sauruses now. And they got plenty of well-developed skinks now with block, dodge, sidestep, extra movement. I just don't see how Sweet Teeth handle that strength team without their best werewolf in the game. It's a rookie werewolf.
They somehow make those games close every time, so I expect... And the Lizardman team has been hurting us sometimes with the picking.
Yeah.
But my brain tells me the Lizardman wins this, but
well, you have 2 of the best season 1 teams. I mean, these are both great season 1 teams, but I think overall Lizardmen are a better season 1 team than Necro.
But the Necro is stick around for longer.
Yeah, they certainly stick around longer. They cause more damage later. But with that werewolf being out, that's the key, because you're taking a rookie werewolf now who doesn't have block. So once a block source gets parked up on him, there's not a lot he's gonna be able to do. So that was my pick. Who did you pick for that one?
I'm agreeing. I'm picking the Lizardman.
Oh, I hate when you agree with me. Bogue Bombers versus Drakdar Squad. 1520 for the Bombers, 1380 for Drakdar. Well, my heart says Drakdar, you win, and make it an interesting 4-way tie in the front. But my head says Bogue Bombers are going to score 2-1 on you. Let's take a look at it. One Blitzer is out for Draktar and completely healthy Bogue Bombers. If ever there was a game where Draktar squad could be the hero of the division,
Yes.
this is it.
Yes.
I mean, he's got the pieces. He's got a lot of Mighty Blow here. He's got some strip ball. He's got a couple of guard pieces. He still has that Goblin. I have no idea why, but to each his own. But
I mean, on my division, there's an Orc team with a Goblin, so I'm guessing he's following the footsteps of somebody
I guess
higher up.
on paper, the humans just look like a better team, but it's a good matchup. If Draktar can do this, he has the pieces to do it. Like, I would not want to face that Strength 5 Black Orc, and then the other Black Orcs with all the block and Mighty Blow already. I mean, he's got enough pieces if he can get removals started early and often. And without...
Oh, it would be so cool.
Yeah, it would be the greatest. But without any really killers on the human team, he's just gonna have to play for scoring here. I'm gonna have to pick the humans, but I'm really cheering for Draktar squad. You know what? It's the last pick of the game. I'm going with Draktar squad. Wait, I give the caster curse.
Oh.
I'm picking the humans. Never mind.
Okay.
You don't want me to
I'm
pick
also
you.
picking the humans.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last thing you want is both of us to pick you, because then Draktar guarantees you lose.
It's Kaison's chance to be a hero.
Yep.
I think I should try to bring him over on the last episode.
No,
if
no.
we can do it.
No, he's already got enough pressure on him now. No, just play it. But if he's listening to the show, just go all in, just go crazy, just throw every block, everything you can do, tie him up, and just try to kill everything you can. Don't even, just go for the crazy plays. It's the last game of the season. Dodge out with a Black Orc for a blitz. Who cares? Just go nuts.
6+ pass like Squid 5.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need you get it with the blitzer, you get the ball, throw a long bomb just for giggles. You got nothing to lose
Break
at this
his
point.
heart with your dice.
Or at the very least, look for his best player, let's see, and kill it. So feel free to do that as well, because that would make me laugh as well. Let's take a look at Beer Brawl Club, Sterling Hornets. Coming in, let's take a look at these. 15. Oh, the TV's real close to each other. No cash to spend. And Pro Elf versus Dwarf. Oof. Any injuries? Dwarfs come in completely healthy. Linemen out for the Elves. Who do you like?
It's a. I'm picking the Elves, but it's a sick matchup to have as your last match of the season, because it doesn't really matter for the division, but then you have to go against all that tackle and
Yeah.
Mighty Blow.
He's got tackle,
So-
Mighty Blow, guard, jump up. He's working on his killer here. His Troll
Yeah.
Slayers both have Mighty Blow. Oh, it's such a nice team. It's coming along really nicely, even though I hate dwarves. And the Elf team, how's it looking? A lot of dodge, blodge, diving tackle. He's got a lot of wasted pieces here that are not going to help him against dwarves. I got to go with the dwarves on this one, but I know you're going to go with the
Cool.
Sterling Hornets because that is your team.
Yes.
I'm going with the dwarves. Beer Brawl Club, you guys can do it. Space your team well. Don't let him slip through, and just bash the hell out of him.
And it is a possibility that the Elf team kind of just goes a bit soft on them because it's not worth it
Well,
to go crazy.
Yeah, I'm sure the elf
Right.
team wants to preserve themselves, and on the same token, the dwarves want to kill as much as they can for skill points going into next season.
Yeah.
So that could be one of those games where they just tie everybody up every single turn and force you to dodge away, and you don't. That's what I would like to see, but you never know. Both teams could surprise us. The Hornets could come out swinging, and the Brawl could come out passing. That'd be interesting. All right, that is all of our main event cards. Everybody, this has been a really fun season, so let's take a quick break. We'll come back with our final segment, outro show, our final segment of the show. Play your games hard and try to wreck your opponent so he goes into next season wounded and injured and has to remember how much he hated that last game. Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. And welcome back to the final segment of the show. This is our outro segment where we just sit around, talk shop, talk about what's going on in the division. Charles, any news around the division? Because I got some news.
Yeah, you said you had some.
Charles,
I don't.
I just found out there's no open invitational this season. There's nothing.
How?
They were.
Okay.
They.
There
they-
will.
Go ahead.
They will not have any kind of replacement.
No,
or
that's.
Are you just a slowpoke?
No, they said that they were thinking about a replacement, but nobody came up with anything. So we just got to sit around for 4 to 6 weeks waiting for the next season to start. That broke my heart. And then you know what else is going on, Charles?
What?
There's no more marketplace where you can buy players. That's going away as well.
I kind of like that change.
Well, of course you do.
Because some coaches, well, actually,
You like
do
it with.
we want people to re-roll or not? Right? That's the
Well,
question.
you like it because you can just easily score 2 touchdowns and level a player up quickly. But people who are up in the upper divisions and like lose 2 guard pieces in the season and just want to go buy a guard piece that somebody puts on the market, they can't now. And now you're stuck up in a higher division, so you're just gonna re-roll. I mean, that's what I did. That's what I did. What?
That could be our salvation from the Nurgle apocalypse.
Oh, you
because
do make a good
now,
point.
if they lose a Claw Mighty Blow, please, they might have to re-roll.
You do make
and
a
they
good
might
point.
not pick Nurgle.
Well, yeah, because our friend Trouk, who plays Agile Nurgle, he's re-rolling now because he lost both of his Agile pieces, and he can't buy any in the market. So you make a good point on that, but I just think it'll cause a lot of re-rolling, but who knows?
Yeah, but now there is a cost to re-rolling, so that's a big difference. If you re-roll now, it's gonna take you a lot of time to get back to the top division, so you might be sacrificing like a year until you get back up there.
Yeah, but you know why that's bad is because then you get like past Super Bowl champions in your rookie division, and you're like, oh, great, thank you, because that happened too to one of the divisions where it's like there were like 2 or 3 high-level players who re-rolled, and now all these guys that are just middle table guys just get wrecked. So
yeah, but they look for that and try to put all those top guys together.
that's what they say, but there's only so many. I mean, if that's with normal market, like this season could be weird because there's no market. There could be a ton more rerolls, and if that happens, then you're gonna have to put 2 higher level players in with 2 regular players. I don't know.
And it's the first season after the restructuring with the tiers divisions.
I know.
So maybe things get a bit crazy. We don't know what's gonna happen.
I don't know. It's definitely going to be weird. That's
All
for
right.
sure. And the other news that I wanted to talk about is the Nufflies are up. Do you remember that? Rebels end of the season awards. Let's take a quick look at that for people who are new to the division. It's our award season, I know. At the end of the season, go to the Rebbl page and take a look here, and you can vote on different things. Well, this is for nominations. If somebody in your division you think is one of these, Coach of the Year, Team of the Year, Rebbl Writer of the Year, Rebbl Broadcaster of the Season. Now, Charles, you've won Broadcaster of the Season from me several times, but...
Sure, we won so many of these.
But, yeah, we won so many of these awards. We appreciate every single one.
We don't even want it anymore.
Yeah, we were like, you know what? Just being nominated is, we're over it. We're over it. The Lucker Noob Award, if somebody is lucky. So just look through all these, and then it tells you how to nominate somebody. This is just for the nominations. Open until Sunday, June 29th, and then there will be actual voting where everybody in the league votes. Now, those of you who are new to Rebbl, last season, you may have heard that there was something called the Chorfening, where everybody tried to kill all the Chorf coaches. Now, Charles, you remember that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, one enterprising young Chorf coach said, hey, I'm going to get all the Chorf coaches together and we'll start our own channel in Discord. And they started that channel and they talked to each other. And when the Nufflies came up, these enterprising young people,
young, handsome,
suave, debonair coach said, if I can get all these guys together, I could have a voting block of 38 people. If we all vote the same way, we could have the funniest incident ever in Rebbl. So he pitched the proposal.
Have a party.
Yes, this young, handsome, debonair Chorf coach pitched this idea, and like 5 of the people were on board with it, and the other 30 were like, nah, that wouldn't be right. And Charles, you know who that guy was? That was me. And it broke my heart
I would
because
say Albert Einstein. but-
oh my, yeah, it broke my heart. I was like, oh, we could have had the funniest thing ever where all Chorf coaches would have been nominated for every single award, and people would have been so outraged at this. So if you look at the last year's award, they do acknowledge that we tried to sabotage the award, and they thought the admin team thought it would have been funny, but people just wouldn't stick together. They wouldn't do it, Charles. But don't let that stop you people if you guys want to collude and come up with your own voting.
Gotta commit to the collusion.
You gotta commit. I mean, if you're gonna be a Chorf, go in all the way. That's like the one thing people complain about Chorfs. We could have made it even more complaints, but they wouldn't do it. These pansies. So the only good thing about that is we figured out who's a real Chorf coach and who's not, and all the fake ones have re-rolled. So we're good. Charles, any other news around Rebbl that you want to discuss?
I don't think so. Good luck to everyone on their last game, and seems like we're gonna have big vacations for most of us.
Yep, we're gonna have a big vacation. This is not the final show, so we'll try to have one more like season finale after we see how it all pans out, and it probably won't be the regular format. We'll just try to do something a little different, but
And we might be passing around some questions so people get to give their opinions about the show and about their division.
now there's no questions about me on there, is it? Right, Charles? Because that's
Not
part.
specifically.
Oh, thank God. Jeez, Charles, I don't want people actually having an opinion on me. This show will not take off if we do that. No. It's been a good season so far. Good luck on everybody's games, and then stay tuned. We'll have one more episode, but it may be a delay. There may be, we might have to wait like 1 or 2 weeks, but with this off season, you guys will have 6 weeks of nothing going on. So, oof, it's gonna be a long one. All right, see you guys next week.
Okay, thank you.
See ya.